I know it's not 2026 yet, but I have a reading list ready to go for next year. I wanted to put this video out as soon as I could, just so it could prepare me even for the coming year. It gives me a chance to finish reading the books that I've wanted to read this year and to focus on the Christmas books that I had planned, which I didn't share exactly which ones those were, but here is my 2026 reading list. So my plan for this list is I don't really have a number so much, but I might do like a little check mark for when I read these. I don't even have an amount that I didn't even count my list like I usually do. My point is that I wanted to make this list because it's important for me to be understanding of what I want to read and hopefully do it. And I don't make it that I have to read these books, but they're usually books that I want to focus on at some point. One thing to know about this list is I'm not going to really explain what these books are about. It's more of just showing you what books I will read, and then I'll explain them after I read them. When I make this list, I choose books that have been on my TBR list for a while. So whatever is on there as the oldest, and then ones that are new, and then some in between that I just take and pick, and ones that I'm like, I really want to read this year, and maybe it isn't even on my Goodreads to read list, but this is a book I've been wanting to read and I need to read it. One thing that will be a little weird is the first book that I have listed on here is The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, 7 and 8, but I haven't read 6 yet because that is on my winter reading list. So I have a winter reading list that I will be sharing from January through March. So you have just one book then. So I know this is kind of weird that I'm doing this like this. The American Daughters. This I got from a secondhand bookstore. I had this is one of the oldest on my to-read list. I thought when I saw this that it was like, I need to get this. So I'm actually really excited that I'll be able to do that soon. As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, Mansfield Park, The Anxious Generation. I think this is like the 3rd year that I've had this on my TBR. It's time. From the Secrets of Ormdale series, I read the first book recently, like a month or 2 ago. Let's just do all the books for 2026. I want to accomplish. This is the year that I'm going to do fulfilling my goals of reading full series. I know that might be a little crazy, but I'm going to do what I can. I don't know if I'll do them all in a row, but I'm going to do what I can. So that means Drake Hall will be first, Castle of the Winds, City of Serpents, and Valley of Dragons. The Barbizon. This was a missed opportunity for me because this was at the secondhand bookstore, and then I went back to get it later, like a month and a half later, and I asked her, do you still have that Barbizon book? She's like, no, I sold it. I was like, okay. It's been on my list the longest. The Hidden Gallery and The Unseen Guest. This is the Incorrigible Children of Ashton Place series. I just want to read just a couple of the books just to see how I feel about it. Now, if I really start loving it, I will read the rest of them this year. To Die For. This is a book I've actually been dying to read, but I had trouble finding it. My library just got it, and I was like, thank you. Because I always search for these books like on a regular basis. Like, do they have it yet? Do they have it yet? The Eyes of Gaza, Homeseeking, Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands. I read the first book from this series and I had a hard time with it. So I'm hoping the second book will make me enjoy it, and then maybe I'll read the third book. So that's why I only have one of the books on here. The Daughter of Madurai. This is like a priority book for me. Like, this will be one of the first books I read. Nancy and Plum. I will say I want to read this because my mom said she read this when she was a little girl and loved it, and I had never heard of it before. My mom's name is Nancy, so I thought Nancy and Plum. Told to me by a Nancy? Yes, I will read this year. Christie. I used to own this book, and I started reading it, but I never read more than like a chapter when I was like quite young when the show was out. So yes, this one, I'm going to finally read this. Finding Margaret Fuller, Leaving Silence, 1666. The Last Runaway, Once a Castle, which I think the third book just came out. So I read the first book this year. This is the second book. We'll see if I get to the third or not. In Pursuit of Love, The Girl Who Sang, Becoming Lottie Moon. The Canadian West series, I read the first 2 books, but I want to finish the series in 2026. So I'll be able to spread it out as much as I can because I want to take this one a little slower. So When Breaks the Dawn, When Hope Springs New, Beyond the Gathering Storm, and When Tomorrow Come. Her Amish Refuge, The Last Bookshop in London, A Hidden Hope, The Woman They Could Not Silence, Baker's Magic, Lilac Girls, also been on my list a long time. The Words We Lost, Oath of the Brotherhood, The Dictionary of Lost Words, Fight Like Jesus, Once Upon a Cat, which is supposed to come out in 2026, I don't remember when, An Improbable Season, The Pearl That Broke Its Shell, The Longest Journey, Forbidden City, The Vanishing of Josephine Reynolds, Before We Forget Kindness, Viet, or Villette is what a lot of people might say, it's Viet, The New Anabaptists, The Bell of Chatham, Tea with Elephants, and probably the sequel too, A Constant Love. This is the Hope of Cheyenne series. There are 3 books out, or at least 2 and 1 coming out. Not sure if I will read the second or third. We'll see how I like the first. Green Pastures, The Color of Air. This is a love story. After Annie, Babel or Babel, Bleak House. This will be the heavy duty one on my goal list, but I read a Charles Dickens book, it seems every year now, and I try to do it early on, so this will probably be early on. The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House, At the Water's Edge, The Tiger Bells, China Dolls, which I think is the only Lisa C. book I have not read, Cranford, 84 Charing Cross Road. Is it Charing or Charing? I think Charing. I Who Have Never Known Men, When the Day Comes, Pearly Everlasting. And the Enola Holmes series, I've been reading this for several years now, and I want to just tackle the rest of them. I've read the first 5 books in this series, so I need to read 5 more, but then there's also this in-between book that's like a novella that I have to also read. The Case of the Gypsy Goodbye, Enola Holmes and the Boy in Buttons, Enola Holmes and the Black Barouche, Enola Holmes and The Elegant Escapade, Enola Holmes and the Mark of the Mongoose. So that is my big list of books that I must read, or I'm going to try to read in 2026. It's going to be quite interesting to see how many books I read next year in general, because this year has been the best reading year I've ever had.